Well, not actually my birthday. My birthday, probably by the time you see this video, my birthday would have passed. But either way, it's my birth month. Guys, I am on the other side of 30. Like, not even 31, 32. Like, I'm closer to 40 than I am 30, but I'm actually happy about it. Like, anyway, that's not what this video is about. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. I want to encourage you, if you are new, hit the notification bell and the subscribe button so that you can just be a part of this amazing healing community that we are building, and be aware of when new videos and things are coming out. Anyway, let's get into this video. I am turning, or I have turned, depending on when you see this video, 36. When did this happen? How did this happen? I don't even know. It's by the grace of God. But I am so excited about this year. It's really, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I thought I was excited about 35, but this year is just, it feels so different. It really feels like a new beginning, and I'm just excited about it. And so I decided that as I'm entering into this new year, that it was time for me to really just step into my calling full force. I feel like I've been incubated long enough. I feel like I have been hoarding my gifts, talents, and abilities long enough. And I really feel in this season that God is he literally has put a foghorn in my hand, or microphone in my hand, and says, "Daughter, open your mouth." And so here I am. The other day, my husband and I were talking, and he mentioned to me that, this is a new life cycle that you're stepping into. And it made me think about what that actually means. I could feel it. I am experiencing it in so many different areas of my life. It almost feels like I'm being reborn. But it never dawned on me why it's happening, or what exactly is happening in my life that's making it so that everything in my life seems new, right? When I turned 35 last year, at the beginning of the year, I prayed and I asked God for a genesis for my bloodline. Not just for me personally, but for my bloodline. I come from a bloodline of dysfunction and brokenness and trauma, and repeated cycles in those areas. And I know that God has called me to break a lot of those cycles. And throughout my journey, I've repeated some of them and had to break some of them. As I was repeating them, I was breaking. And so when I came to 35, I finally got to a space where I felt all the way safe. Safe enough to heal. Because if you've ever walked through a healing journey, you know that you're not going to come into your healing until, if you've ever been in survival mode, you know that until you feel safe, you are not going to tend to the wounds that were created while you were in survival, right? And so I think 35 brought me to a space where I felt like, okay, life has finally settled. And it's time for me to go through my process. I was healed, but I wasn't whole. And I really wanted to accomplish wholeness. And so I set out on this journey. At the beginning of the year, I prayed and asked God for a genesis, a new beginning. And he took me on this journey. The journey, it's almost like he showed me this roadmap. And on the roadmap, it was key ages of my life where I experienced dysfunction, trauma, or abuse. And those key ages brought like not derailed my, some of them derailed my path, but some of them took me through loops. Some of them took me through, it's like I would turn left and then have to go realize I made the wrong turn. So I would have to turn back and like, it was just, it's hard to explain. I feel like that's a whole video in and of itself. But either way, he showed me my journey. And he showed me the key ages where I was met with dysfunction or abuse and what it did to my design. So God creates each of us unique in our own design. We each have our own design. Your design is, it is a makeup. It's basically what you are made up of, or what God decides when he's creating you in your mother's womb. This is what he's using to knit you together. So it entails your talents, abilities, your calling, your character, your personality, your likes, your dislikes, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, all of the things that make you you. God designs when you're in the womb. But then life happens and it begins to either shape those things according to God's plan and purpose for you, or it shapes Satan's version of your design, right? So because we come into this earth with a calling and a purpose, Satan, the enemy of our soul, wants to derail us from that thing. And so the way that he's able to do that is by creating moments in our life that birth things like pride, like imposter syndrome, low self-esteem, anxiety, all the things that are going to stop us from doing what we were put on this earth to do. He creates scenarios and situations that put those things inside of us so that we never accomplish our purpose here, right? And so here I am at 35, and God shows me this roadmap of how I got here, right? I've known what I'm called to do since a little girl. In 2012, he made it clear to me what he put me on this earth to do. But then life be lifing sometimes, you know? And my journey took me through many different loops and turns and things like that. And so I had to go through my process of becoming whole. I had to go through my process of returning back to my original design. There it is. Thank you. And so that's what 35 was for me. And so now that I'm entering into a new year, 36, I realized that the process that I went through last year allows for me to step into this year whole. And so here I am as my original design. So I am now the version that God designed me to be, not the version that my traumas made me to be, right? And so I feel like all that's happening right now in my life is so significant and so symbolic because it's a testament of the journey. And I realize that I cannot go forward. I cannot go full throttle in this calling that the Lord has given me until I share the journey, right? Like I can't, the only way that you're going to trust that's the person that's leading you is if you know that, no, they've been there before. They know where they're going, right? If I'm driving a car and I'm following the person in front of me to take me somewhere, I'm gonna trust that they've been where we're going, so they know the path, right? And so if I am creating a space for healing, if I am out here and I've been speaking in many spaces around healing, around generational healing, around personal healing, healing of the heart, healing of the mind, healing of the soul, all of those things, you cannot trust that I know how to take you to your place of wholeness if you don't know what I've walked through or the journey that I've taken to get here, right? And so I realized that as I'm stepping into this life cycle, this new cycle, it's time to share. It's time to share, not from a space where I am just looking to tell my story, but I think it's important for people to understand who God is and how he operates in our hurt, in our pain. And that he is a God who restores. He is a God who loves us enough to come to the dark places that we find ourselves in sometimes and pull us out, walk us through our journey, and put us where we're supposed to be. And so that's what this video is about. When I was having the conversation with my husband and he said, you're starting a new life cycle, it made me think about where I was at 18. So I'm turning 36, 18 years, or by the time you see this video, I would have turned 36 already. 18 years ago, my life was completely derailed. And I realized that I've never actually shared the story of the derailing and also how God brought me back to center. So 18 years ago, I was a naive little girl thinking she was grown, okay? I was in a very dysfunctional space with my mother, and still in pursuit of the things. I knew who I was back then. I knew that God had called me to ministry. I knew that there was a call of God on my life to speak and teach and all of those things and lead people back to God. But I didn't understand. It's like I understood the calling, but I didn't understand who I was as a person, if that makes any sense. And so I was very vulnerable. So I am 18 years old, thinking I'm grown. And I ended up, while I'm serving in the ministry, that for the sake of just privacy and things like that, I'm not really going to call any names or anything, because that's not what this video is about. But 18 years old, and I met someone who completely derailed my life. Now, this person came into my life under the guise of wanting to be in relationship with me. Originally, when this person came into my life, it was supposed to be a friendship. It was supposed to be a working relationship where they play music, I'm a worship leader, I sing, and they're coming to work for the ministry that I'm at. So in that time, again, things were very toxic in the dynamic that I was in my mom. So I ended up moving out of my house at 18. Now, I need y'all to know the dynamic that I have with my mom is not what it used to be. And I thank God for that. I thank God for healing and restoration. But in that season, we were just having trouble communicating. And I think also because we didn't understand each other. And I also thought I was grown and that I knew what I was doing and all these different things. It just was what it was. And so here I am, I moved out of my house at 17. Here I am at 18, thinking I'm grown, thinking I knew what life was all about. And here comes this person into my life. Now, if I knew that meeting this person was going to take me down the path that it took me down, I would have allowed this person that much space in my life. So I meet this person, and what started off as a friendship became a dating relationship. And I noticed that I started changing. I started compromising who I was as a person, but I didn't notice it then. I thought that I was growing. I thought that I was becoming. I thought that I was living the life that God called me to live. Little did I know what was happening was that I was being stripped of my identity. This person was very abusive physically, very abusive emotionally, mentally, psychologically. And it left me stripped of who I am. It left me fractured in a lot of ways. And I think I think the difficult part too was that we were operating in ministry together. So not only was it, I mean, usually if you're dating somebody in the world, it's a little bit easier to kind of cut it off. But when you're building something with someone, okay, I'm gonna go back.
Thank you, babe.
So here I am at 18 years old. I am serving faithfully in the ministry. I'm leading praise and worship. I'm functioning in my calling. I am in pursuit. I wanted to go to school for psychology at the time. Like, I just understood who I was and what God called me to do. And in walks this person into my life, under the guise of being a safe space, under the guise of being a friend. Like, at the time, as I mentioned earlier, my mom and I had a very interesting dynamic, a very dysfunctional dynamic. And so I remember this person would literally pick me up from work, because I started working when I was 15 years old, and would pick me up from work. And because I didn't want to go home, they would drive around and we would just talk. And now me and my naivete thought this person just enjoyed talking to me. This person just liked being around me, just enjoyed my company. And the reality is they were listening to find a way in. They were listening to find a way to infiltrate my life, to infiltrate my mind, to infiltrate and execute whatever their agenda was. Now looking back, I know that they were preying on me. So here I am operating in ministry. This person comes into my life. They're operating in the same ministry that I'm serving in. We're now working together. We have a friendship together, and we start the relationship then becomes physical. We start dating, and then the relationship became physical. Now, I need to say this because I need you to understand the depths of manipulation and predatory behavior that was involved. Prior to meeting this person, I made a covenant with God. The covenant was that I would keep my body for the person that I was going to get married to, because I lost my virginity at a very young age, and I wanted to honor the Lord with my temple. So I made a covenant with him the year before I met this person, that I would not give my body to another person until I was in a marriage relationship. And the year I met this person would it's almost like they would say things to plant the seed over a course of conversations. They would plant the seed in my psyche, so that when they were ready to hit that trigger, there would be no wall, no defense, no nothing. It was very serpentine, the way that they operated in my life. So now here we are. The relationship has now become physical, but become intimate. We've become intimate with each other. I've shared everything with this person, and we're operating in ministry together. And so what I thought was a safe space for me at the time, what started off as what I thought was a friendship with somebody who genuinely cared about me, turned into years of what I would consider, I can't even call it a nightmare, it was hell. I find that a lot of people enter into abusive relationships blindly, and enter with the purest of intentions, not knowing that a person is preying on you. I didn't find out until later on that there were conversations even that were had concerning me before I even met this person. So they knew who I was. They knew who I was. They knew I had other siblings that were in ministry. My father was in ministry, so they knew who I was before even meeting me. So so here we are. I'm in a relationship with this person, and I now think that this is the best thing since sliced bread, because I'm 18. I'd never really been in a serious relationship like this. before. I'm being exposed to things that I had never been exposed to. I'm getting front row seats at concerts and shows and things like that. Like there was a lifestyle attached because of who this person was. So here I am being exposed to things that I had never been exposed to before. I felt safe until I didn't anymore. Eventually this person started controlling, would go through my phone and delete anybody who was a male contact, whether it was somebody I was just going to school with, a cousin, whoever it was. I was not allowed, all of a sudden, I wasn't allowed to have male friends. I wasn't allowed to have conversations with anybody who was a male. I wasn't allowed to wear red nail polish. I wasn't allowed to do my hair a certain way. I was not, so what was a safe space, or what started off as a safe space, became a space where I couldn't even be myself. And so that activated the performance orientation in me, because here I am stuck in this situation where I'm dating somebody that I'm in ministry with. People are looking at us like I had women who were jealous of me because this man chose me, but didn't know the hell that I was living in. Okay. And so the relationship went on. I was in this for about 7 years. So from 17 to about 24. The relationship went on to the point where I ended up losing my family. I was isolated from my family. I didn't speak to my siblings, didn't speak to my mother, just complete isolation. Whoever was in my life was because this person allowed for them to be in my life. This person would beat me down with their words. They would sleep with other women. They would sleep with other women and then bring whatever it is home. So you're bringing sickness into my life. It got to the point where I was physically getting sick. I would have joint pains. I am 19, 20 years old. Joint pains, swelling, inflammation, ended up in the hospital because this thing was so toxic. This thing was demonic, okay? It was demonic. This person would use scripture to abuse me and to make me call myself stupid or call myself unwise or unworthy, things like that. And so again, what started off as a safe space for me in the last life cycle, okay, at 18, because we're talking about the goodness of God, I got to take you down the road though, so that you understand where I'm coming from and how I got here. This relationship was so demonic. It controlled my thoughts. It controlled every part of my life. I even was going to school and this person convinced me to drop out of school. I ended up going to school for business and this person convinced me to drop out of school and help them build their business. So I did that and just completely lost myself to the point where I started getting angry with God. Now, for the sake of understanding, I need you to understand the depths of abuse that I experienced at the hands of this person. So I'm gonna share a story with you. There was a time in the relationship where my friends that I used to go to school with hadn't seen me in a while, and it was one of their birthdays. And so they said, Atia, I don't care what's happening with you. We need to see you. Come, if I have to come pick you up, I'm going to come pick you up. And so I shared this information with the person that I was dating. And I said, listen, I haven't seen my girls in a while. I'm going to go out with them. Why don't you just come with us? Right? They had this thing about me traveling at night. And so I said, why don't you just come with us? They didn't want to come. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to go. No, you're not. I said, okay, no problem. We're not living together. So what I do is what I do. And I just hope, So the night of the party comes and I go to this birthday party and my phone is ringing nonstop. Like it was to the point where I started getting anxiety. I never used to get anxiety before being in a relationship with this person. But I started getting anxiety. My heart started beating really fast. I could barely breathe. And I had to say to my girls, you know what, guys, I know I just got here, but I gotta go. On my way back home, this person still calling me, just kept calling, kept texting. Where are you? Why are you not answering your phone? All the things. And it was so bad that I was at the time, the cabs didn't have a debit. So I had to go to the bank machine to pull out money, and they kept texting me, kept calling me so much that I couldn't remember my PIN number. If you've dealt with anxiety to the point where it's crippling, you know that in key moments, your body just seizes up and you can't even think straight. You can't even move sometimes. And so the pressure that I was under in this moment, one of many moments, it made me forget my PIN. And so the machine ended up eating my bank card. So I get in the taxi and I say to the taxi driver, I'm sorry, the machine just ate my card. Can you take me home? And when you can come back tomorrow, I'm going to get a new card. You can come back and I'll give you cash. He said, no problem. Okay. We pull up to my house and there's a car in my driveway. You guessed it. It's the man that I'm in relationship with, that I had no business being in a relationship with at 18, 19 years old. I was probably 19 at this point. Sitting in the driveway, and I thought that I would be able to just get home and answer my phone and say, yeah, I'm so sorry, I was sleeping. Little did I know he was sitting in my driveway. He got out of his car, opened the taxi door and said, did you pay the man? And I said, I started stuttering, and he grabbed me by the neck, pulled me out of the car, grabbed my stuff and told me to get in his car. I said, I'm not getting in the car with you. I'm not doing this with you. Yada, 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 yada. He said, get in the car. Couple curse words in there, but whatever. I got in the car and he started talking about how I don't like to listen and this, that, and the third, and started just going off on me. Now, mind you, this is not my father. Even if it was my father, this behavior would be inappropriate. This is somebody that I am in a dating relationship with. Somebody who said that they love me. Somebody who said that they want what's best for me. So he starts driving recklessly. I have no idea where we're going. And so I put my seatbelt on and he says, you're lucky I don't throw your head through the window or bash your head through the window or whatever. I told you, you're not going to this party. Starts driving recklessly. And I kept asking him, where are we going? Just tell me where we're going. And he said, if you know what's best for you, you'll keep your mouth shut. So I said, okay. And I sat quietly. Eventually, we pulled into like this industrial area, like a parking lot. It's the middle of the night. I have no idea where we are. And he stops the car. There's nothing around us. And he says, get out. I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to fight. I'm sorry. I just kept apologizing. Even though I didn't do anything wrong. But if you've ever been in a situation like that, in those moments, you're only thinking about survival. When you're in a relationship with someone that you love, it should never be about survival. It should never be about trying to manipulate an outcome because you feel unsafe. And so here I am apologizing for going out with my friends at 19 years old, living on my own, apologizing to the man that I'm in relationship with for going out with my friends whom I hadn't seen for a very long time because I was in this toxic cycle with this man. He gets out his side of the car, comes to my side. I locked the door. He said, oh, you think you're slick. Pushes the button because he had the opener in his hand. Opens my door, grabs me and pulls me out of the car. And he starts again, keep going about how I don't listen and how I like to make him mad and all of these different things. He pushes me up against the vehicle and he starts to abuse me physically. He starts, for the sake of, I know that some watching this video may be triggered, and so I don't want to, this isn't what this video is about. I just need to give you context of what I was in before the Lord came and got me. And so here I am, I'm pressed up against this door. This man is choking me. Now this man, I am 5'2". This man is 6'1". At the time, he was like almost 400 pounds. He was a big guy. And he starts choking me. And I'm saying sorry, I'm apologizing, I'm telling him I won't do it again, all these different things, anything to escalate the situation. Now I need you to understand that I grew up seeing this type of behavior modeled for me because I grew up in a home where abuse was, my parents were very abusive towards each other. So by the time I got with this person, I was so desensitized to abuse that I didn't even realize that this was very unhealthy, that this is not what God had for me, even though that's what I was telling myself, because our lifestyle would tell you that God's hand is on this, right? But what was happening behind closed doors was not God at all. And so in that situation, he ended up letting me go, got into the car and drove off and left me standing there. I didn't have my shoes on because my shoes were in the car. Actually, when he grabbed me out of the car, one of my shoes fell off. So I had one shoe on, one shoe was in the car, my purse was in the car, my phone was in the car, everything was in the car because of how abruptly he pulled me out of it. So he drove off and he left me standing there in the middle of nowhere, and I was just broken. Because everything happened so fast, I didn't even understand. Like, I didn't think that this is how the night was gonna go. Especially because, again, I thought that this person loved me. So here I am, standing in the middle of nowhere, and I see a little bit of light, like down in the distance. And so I start walking, because what else am I supposed to do? I start walking, and I hear skrrr, and then I see this man turn his car back around, pull up in front of me, tell me, get your back in the car. I say, I'm not getting in the car with you. Look at what you just did to me. I'm sick of this, all of that stuff. I'm crying, all the things. And he said, if you don't get in this car, I'm gonna put you in this car. So I opened the door, I got back in the car, and he says, you're lucky I love you. Imagine being in that for 7 years, in the most crucial time of your development as a woman, from 17 to 24. No family, anybody that was in my life that would empower me, that would see him for who he was and tell me, Atia, there's something about him. He's not good. He's this, he's that. I know you guys are doing all of this, but he would either push them out or I would push them out, because I was so wrapped up in this thing, like my head was gone. So here I am, years of this level of abuse. There were times I thought this man was going to kill me. There were times my sisters would see me and my face was swollen, beat up, bruised. There were times I couldn't even eat food because my jaw was so swollen and bruised up because of the level of abuse that I dealt with at the hands of this person between 17 to 24 years old. So here I am, 21. We're still in that life cycle. 21 years old, because of how broken I was and not realizing what the depths of darkness that I was in, I ended up marrying this person without family, thinking that we were going to build the kingdom of God, thinking that we were going to have this amazing life and that eventually he was just going to change. I lost myself in that thing. It got to the point where I didn't even want to talk about God anymore, because I was so angry with the fact that this is what he would have written when he was writing my story, that this is what he wrote for me. I was so hurt by the fact that God would allow somebody to do the things to me that this person did to me. So I hated God. I even stopped doing the things that I was created to do. I was a worshiper. I am a worshiper, but in that season, I knew that I was created to worship. I knew that I was created to sing and write music that would lead people to Christ. But because this person had such a stronghold, a chokehold on me, it got to the point where he was now responsible for the music that I was creating. So if I'm leading worship at a ministry, a church, this person is the music pastor or the music director. And if there's something that I would do wrong, there would be times I would lead worship, the presence of God would fall. And when I got in the car, this person would pick me apart and talk about all the things that I didn't do right. This person would, if somebody came up to me after the service and talking to me, especially if they were a male, talk to me about how they were blessed by the worship or this, that, and the third, you better believe when I get in the car, I'm gonna get it. And so it got to the point where I didn't even want to lead worship anymore. I didn't even want to sing anymore. I didn't want anything to do with church, so I stopped going. Because I would go to pastors and tell them this is what's happening to me. I would go to people and tell them this is what's happening to me. And nobody would do anything. You would still position this person. So I stopped going to church. Me, pastor's daughter. Me, the person who was given the grace to teach and lead people back to the love of God. Me, I stopped going to church because I was mad at God for letting this come into my life, not realizing that this was actually Satan. Remember how in the beginning of the video, I was talking about how Satan sends things and people, relationships into your life to derail you from the destiny that God has for you? God created me a certain way, and this person came into my life to strip me of everything that God placed inside of me. Little did he know, what your enemies meant for evil, God will turn it around for your good. Because it was in that very marriage, in that very situation, in that season where I was facing domestic violence, that my healing grace was activated. Ain't that something? My healing grace was activated. My compassion for people who are in that situation, or who feel vulnerable, or who feel muzzled, or who feel trapped in the situations I was in, was activated in that very darkness that I was living in. So here we are, years of no church. This person would get up on Sunday morning. I would iron their clothes, cook them breakfast, and they would go to their job at the church. I'm going to call it a job because it was not ministry. They would go by themselves, and I would stay at home and take care of the children, because I was also raising their child from a previous marriage. Now, mind you, what they were doing to me, they did it before and did it after me, but we don't even need to go there. So here I am, not wanting anything to do with God, not even wanting to talk about him, and he calls me in that moment. My Bible was sitting in a box somewhere, and he woke me up out of my sleep one night, and told me to come in the living room. Like it's like I was having an out-of-body experience. So while I'm in the depths of depression, while I'm battling all these different things, wanting nothing to do with God, he's coming to find me. So the same Bible that was in the box is now sitting on my couch, and he says, open it. This is in 2012. Open it. I open it, and he shows me, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. I predestined you. I called you. Here's your purpose, and then listed it out in the scripture. While I'm telling God, I don't want anything to do with you, he's saying, I'm calling you. While I'm saying, God, how could you let this happen to me? He's saying, I have use for your pain. I have purpose for your pain. Let me guide you back to yourself. Let me guide you back to me. Let me guide you back to my love. And I still said no, because I was that mad. I was that hurt. That I went from not even knowing what it was like to do drugs and to drink to now that's what I do every day because this person introduced me to it. I was broken. I was lost, fractured. But God was calling me. God was activating parts of me I didn't even know I had in me. Here I am living out a generational cycle, not even knowing it's a generational cycle because God has asked me, God has literally created me to break that cycle. You can't break a thing until you've stood right 10 toes down inside of it. So here I am. Now I finally, after years of trauma, of infidelity, of being manipulated, lied to, robbed, finally found the courage to leave. Hallelujah. I don't even mean to be funny. I'm serious. Finally found the courage to leave. And what gave me that courage was the birth of my son, my eldest son. Because I realized that I can't allow for this little boy to repeat the cycle of abuse that he's witnessing his father do, to his mother. I can't have him grow up in that because I grew up in that. And I know what that does to someone because I was living it. And so I decided to leave. And so I called my mother after, I think at that point, my mother and I hadn't spoken for about 3 years. I didn't even tell her that I had the baby. And it wasn't because we didn't want to have a relationship. It was, I literally had to choose between her and this man. So I called my mother and I said, Mom, I'm leaving him. You know what she said to me? Good for you. Because she knows what it's like to be stripped of your identity, to be in the dysfunction of abuse, to feel helpless and to feel muzzled when all you want to do is love. She knows what that feels like, to feel trapped in something. And so she said, good for you. And so I left. I left and did not look back. Because see, here's the thing with me. It takes me a while to, when I decide I'm done with something, it's taken me a while to finally get there. Before I even entered into marriage with this person, I was done. But I thought, okay, maybe marriage would change this because no one taught me how to love. No one taught me how to set boundaries. No one taught, I didn't know, right? And so I thought it would change the thing. And so here we are, 3 years or 2 years, I don't remember the timeline. And I left. And it took me a while to get him out of my system. If you've ever been with somebody who is demonically oppressed, who is ruled by demons, then you understand that it's not just about breaking up with them. It's about breaking the spiritual ties that still connect you, even though you've walked away from the person physically. So even though I've left physically, this person was still very much hovering in my life. This person was still very much showing up because I was still legally married to this person. Even when I started dating again, this person would find the person I was dating and reach out to them and slander me to them. Or slander me to them. Even my husband now, better believe this person was calling his family, calling my current husband's family to slander me to them. So, at some point, it in the journey, I had to break the spiritual ties that were keeping me in the fog, that were keeping me oppressed, that were keeping me in depression, that were keeping me in anxiety, that were keeping me in addiction. When I left that dynamic, I was stuttering. I was drinking heavily. I was smoking marijuana heavily. I had no prayer life. And if I was praying, it's because it was out of desperation, because the demons that would torment me, even in my sleep, I can tell you how many times I would see the spirit of death come and visit me physically with my own two eyes. It's an ugly thing, because I was that deep in the dark. I was that wrapped up in Satan's plan for me. But it was there that the love and the mercy of God came and found me. Not even found me, because he was already with me in it. But it was there in the darkness of it all, wanting to end my life. I can't tell you how many times in that season I wanted to end my life. I used to pray, especially when this person was physically assaulting me. I used to pray that God would take me out in that moment, so that I didn't have to deal with this anymore, because I felt like I just couldn't leave the person. That's how bad it was. And so when here I am now, navigating through life as a single mother, after I left this person at 24. I'm 24 years old. I have this baby that I have to care for. And I didn't even mean to share all of this with you guys today, but here we are. Have this baby that I need to care for. And I am navigating through all of that. And it's all of that darkness that led me back to Christ. I was studying all these different things: Buddhism, Taoism, all kinds of things, just trying to find wholeness, trying to find peace, trying to make sense of what I went through. And it wasn't until one day I was sitting in my apartment with roaches everywhere, because that's what I could afford at the time, talking to God about that thing that you showed me in 2012. We're now years removed. I don't see it. You said you called me. You said you this. You said you that. You said you have this purpose for me. Well, where is it? He said, I've been calling you, but you're not answering. You're not answering. I've been leading you, but you're not following. And it humbled me, because I realized in that moment that I was still carrying so much pain that there was no space for God to pour his love into me. I was putting a cap on my heart and expecting God to just, I don't even know. If you looked at me, I look at pictures from that season of my life and I'm like, whoa. Like, I could see it in my eyes how sad I was, how lost I was. There was no glow to me. There was no joy. It was dark. Like, I remember even cutting off my hair. Like, there was just so many things that I did in that season because I was hurting. And so in that moment where I was asking God about his purpose, I finally said to him, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Like, tell me what you want me to do, because I'm tired. I'm tired of hurting. I'm tired of feeling like I'm on the run. I'm tired of feeling lonely. I'm tired of feeling broken. I'm tired of feeling anxious. I'm tired. What am I supposed to do? And he said, go back to the foundation. Go back to the basics. And you know what I did? I went back to church. But not any church. I went back where I felt safe. I told y'all, my dad's a pastor. And because I had been so removed from church, I knew that I had to go and heal the foundation of who I was as a person. And so I went where it felt like home. And that was literal home for me. I remember calling my dad and I was telling him what was going on. And I ended up moving out of my apartment and going and staying with my dad and my brothers and my mom, my stepmom, so that I can get my healing, so that I could rebuild the foundation of who I am as a person, of who God designed me to be. It was not easy, but his love, God's love for me, even though I didn't want anything to do with him in past seasons, made it so that by the time I was ready to receive from him, he could then walk me through a path of healing. I didn't know that the path that he had set for me, that I was going to walk through, was going to be the very thing that I use when he releases me to heal others and to help them walk through what they've walked through, or walk through their healing. Yeah. I didn't know that I had to face the things that I had faced in past season, the mental health, the anxiety, the CPTSD, all the things. I didn't know that God was going to use those things to help me reach people who are in those spaces that need healing and need to know that God loves them and God's with them and walking with them through their pain and their hurt. And so he took me through this healing journey. And that healing journey is where my first book was birthed. If I knew that where I am right now is what God had for me the whole time, I would have started this a lot sooner. If I knew that joy was possible, I would have went on my healing journey a lot sooner. If I knew that wholeness was possible, I would have went on the journey a lot sooner. But this is the trick of the enemy, to make you feel like you have to be bound to your pain and bound to your hurt and bound to your oppression, bound to your abuse. No. God has freedom for you. He has restoration for you. He has wholeness for you. He has joy for you in abundance. But we have to go on the journey with him. And so here I am, sitting in restoration, sitting in a new beginning. I shared with you what life was at 18 into 20 something. And now here I am at 36. Whole. I'm not people pleasing. What you see is what you're gonna get, okay? I'm not doing anything unless the Lord asks me to do it. I'm not saying yes to things that I really want to say no to. I'm not sitting here stopping myself from loving or receiving love because I feel unworthy. But that's the love of God. That's the transformative power of God. That it doesn't matter what happened in one season. God can turn it around just like that in another season. It is just like that, but it don't feel like it's just like that. It takes time. That one season I was stuttering, and here I am teaching and speaking and helping people. My words literally free people because they're backed by the power of God. But that's only because I went through my journey, and I don't say that arrogantly because my words are just words. But it's because my heart has been tested, and I've walked through the journey and partnered with God. I know I am nothing without him. I'm nothing without him. And I can say that because I've tried. I've tried to live life without God. It is ghetto, okay? Look at what's happening in the world right now. Because we're trying to live life, build cities, build systems without God. It's impossible. And so I'm stepping into this year, this new life cycle, this new beginning, with so much joy. One of the things that I keep hearing is, Atia, you look so happy, because I am. If y'all knew, I'm only sharing a bit of what God has done for me and where he's freed me from. Like, my husband and I are celebrating 7 years of fruitfulness, of just being together. 5 years of marriage. God has been blessing us. We have, like, if I tell you guys the way that I have defiled my body in past seasons, because so much so that I thought I could never have kids again. And here we are. If you follow me on the socials, you know, Zai keeps us busy, okay? We're bearing fruit, and it's not bitter fruit, it's sweet. It's sweet because I walked out this journey with God. I didn't even think I was gonna make it to see 30. And here I am at 36, living out the very thing that God showed me I would be doing in 2012. What? Because that's just how good he is. That no matter where you are, no matter what circumstances you're in, there is freedom for you, there is grace for you, there is love for you. And that's what I want to show people with my journey. It's not about, I could tell you who this person is, because this person is still very much in operation, still very much abusive in their own way. But this is about what God has done for me, how he saved me. And for you to understand the magnitude of that, I need to tell you about where I'm coming from. God is good, and he's kind, and he's loving, and he has purpose for the things that you've walked through. It's the healing journey that he's given to me that has afforded me the opportunity to bring others into their healing. It's the journey that I've walked through personally that has allowed me to even bring corporate healing to people. It's the journey that I've walked through as a mother that has allowed me to honor that space as a mother in this season of my life. To be present, to be whole, to be open and loving to my children. It is the fruit of a bad marriage and the experience of being in a bad marriage that has allowed me to honor the marriage that I'm in now. To honor the man that loves me unconditionally because I've had conditional love. God wastes nothing. He wastes nothing. And so I want to thank you to those of you who have been journeying with me even before now. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for sticking with me. For those of you who joined my journey at whatever part of the journey you joined it on, thank you. Thank you. I cannot go forward in my calling without explaining to you where I'm coming from. I asked God the other day, and I'm going to say this before I wrap this up. I asked God the other day, when are you going to get the glory out of my life? And he said, when you choose to tell your story. If I could be honest with you, I didn't want to do YouTube. I see content creators doing things all the time, and I'm like, y'all look exhausted. Like, y'all look exhausted. Your kids look unhappy. Like, it's just a lot. Y'all look anxious. Like, it's just a lot. I did not want to be a hamster on a wheel. And so I just didn't want to do it. And God just kept pushing it and pushing me and pushing me and pushing me to the point where I didn't have a choice. But I asked him, when are you going to get the glory out of my life? And he said, when you open your mouth and tell them what I've done for you. I said, oh, you ever ask God something and then realize, oh, I'm the problem? Yeah. Yeah. I can't be the barrier or the block of why God is not getting what belongs to him in this season. And so I'm going to be very vocal about what God has done, can do, will do, going to do. because that's what he's put me on this earth to do. Those who don't like it, seek healing. Those who need it, welcome. Anyway, so I am celebrating the goodness of God in this season. I'm excited about what God is doing. I'm excited about what he's asking me to do. I'm excited about who I get to do it with. And yeah, thank you so much for your time, for listening, for journeying with me. I'm just grateful. Anyway, I love you guys. Bye.
You should tell them what they could do for you this birthday.
Oh!
Tell somebody about the page.
So,
tell somebody love on them.
My husband, who is sitting here, my co-producer. He's actually my producer, because anyway, he says that I should tell you guys what you could do for me this birthday. Honestly, tell me what y'all could do for me is let's share this page. Let's share this link. If you know someone who needs what's in this space, share it with them. I'm not asking because I'm looking for, this is not about the numbers for me. This is not about the likes, the subscriptions, none of that stuff. I'm not even looking to monetize. I just want people to receive what they need. I want people to receive their healing. I want them to receive love, and to know that there is space for them. And so for me, this birthday, all I can ask y'all to do is share this page, share this video, share another video that you may have seen on the page that resonated with you or that may resonate with someone else. Follow me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere. I think I'll be on TikTok soon. Okay. Babe said I need to be on TikTok. All right. We gonna find ourselves in TikTok too. I'll meet you in TikTok. But yeah. And just pray for me. Just pray for me. What the Lord has asked me to do in this season is not easy. And so just keep me in prayer. I'm gonna be praying for y'all. If there's anything I can be praying for you, you can comment down below. And if it's private, feel free to send me a DM or an email, whatever the case is. My email is atiaheals@gmail.com. It's simple. So yeah, anyway, I love y'all. Thank you so much for being here with me and letting me be vulnerable. Oh my God. Bye y'all, until next time.